Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and look at this. Breaking news: the International Monetary Fund warning that widening geopolitical divides are disrupting global trade flows, creating spillover effects that are dividing the world's economies into competing blocks. The foundation of the system is slowly changing. Here's a quote. Some countries are reevaluating their heavy reliance on the dollar in their international transactions and reserve holdings. And then Robert Kiyosaki, who is Rich Dad from the Rich Dad Poor Dad book, currently in South Africa, a country I love, watching and listening to rumors of what will happen when BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, produce BRICS crypto, possibly backed by gold. If BRICS gold crypto happens, trillions in fake money, fiat US dollars will come rushing back to home to America, causing hyperinflation in America, ultimately destroying US dollar. Best buy real gold, silver, and Bitcoin now and protect yourself from the crash of the US dollar. Well, if you want to buy gold, go to milesfranklin.com and use code DAI Gold. It's in the top, the link's in the top of the description of this video. I own physical gold. Now, check this. This is Ripple, Reese Merrick.
Ripple acquired a company called Metico, Swiss-based custody solution who are serving, tier one banks globally. And the reason why is that a lot of these banks and large FIs are looking at how they can tokenize real-world assets, but essentially don't have the tech behind it or don't have the capability to build or want to build to be able to actually have a custody solution that enables that safety for their customers. So HSBC is one example. Largest bullion provider globally. They are now digitizing gold, and it's just to a subset of their customer base at the moment. But if a player like HSBC is coming into the market, tokenizing gold, as well as real estate and other kind of assets, then, on the front of it, one side they're saying, crypto, this, that, and the other. And it's clear that behind the scenes, as I mentioned earlier, they're looking at strategies, looking at the market opportunity, and actually believe that it's not just hype, that it's happening.
Once that domino falls, there's not much of a future for fiat currency in my book. Why would you own, but also why would you own, if you could buy a token that's tokenized, I just felt a breeze. I'm wondering if my front door is open. It is not open. Okay. If someone tokenizes gold on the blockchain where you can buy a tokenized token that represents your ownership in gold and proves your ownership in said gold, why would you own fiat or Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin's not backed by anything. Check this out about a bull run for XRP.
If this is going to be a bull run for XRP or for Ripple, tokenized assets are going to be the vehicle that this is going to, I think, transact around. And if you follow where the money is going, you probably would agree. Here's a clip to talk about that.
BNY Mellon is the world's largest custodial bank. They're the bank that your banks bank with. And they did a study of institutional asset managers to get their opinions on what they think about this space. And that report found that 97% of asset managers believe that tokenization will revolutionize the asset management industry. The ones with more than $1 trillion, basically the largest asset managers, 100% of them are interested in this space. So I don't know about you, but I've always been told, follow the money. And this is where the money is going.
And if you do follow the money and you also follow the major moves of key executives, because that usually is another indicator, here's one right here. BNY Mellon's head of digital asset product departs for, guess what, Ripple. So do you guys see this? I mean, hopefully you're watching this right now.
I mean, this Paul Barron guy, I can't believe he's finally figuring all this out. We've been talking about this for 6 years.
This is the potential, bellwether component of the market that is going to start to really perk its head up there in terms of real world assets and tokenized securities all starting to become part of this whole blockchain ecosystem. So if this is going to be
I think Paul Barron is finally figuring it out. This is interesting from eGrag Crypto. He says no one's talking about it. While it's not a hot topic, he says, looking at the chart below, we see the retest after the bear market breakout at 21 EMA. He's showing what's happened in these cycles with Bitcoin, how it goes up, there's a pullback, and then the real returns happen after a pullback. And he's making that point for the times we're in right now. So pay attention. I've been accumulating XRP in this downturn. Don't get shaken out.
For me, out of 10, 6 to 12 month scale, I think.
Remember when Brad Garlinghouse called for $5 trillion by the end of the year?
Solid 9.5. And I don't think that's priced into the markets yet. And I say that not to diminish the trauma.
9.5 trillion, folks, is what this guy's calling for.
In so many ways, markets up and down, companies coming and going. But in the fact that despite the relentless near-death experience, Celsius 3 Arrows, Terra Luna, FTX, Silvergate Signature, we're here. And every monster we slay makes it easier to slay the next one. So I'm very positive about the direction because it is clear, I hope, to everyone here that this is a one-way street, that the upgrade of money and economy and how we do things is one way, but it's a little bumpy on the way. But I'm encouraged that we're here and that every one of these crises gives us the tools to deal with the next. Everyone here that this is a one-way. And every monster we slay makes it easier to slay the next one. So I'm very positive about the direction because it is clear, I hope, to everyone here that this is a one-way street, that the upgrade of money and economy and how we do things is one way, but it's a little bumpy on the way.
So it's a little bumpy, okay? This was a tweet from Mark Cuban right here. This is how Gary Gensler and the SEC are trying to destroy the crypto industry. They make it impossible to comply with the registration rules. Since the SEC decided to regulate rather than make any effort to increase compliance, if I get an investment opportunity that is going to release a token, it's now a no from me. See, this is what I keep on hearing all this talk in the XRP community about the builders, and helping them get funding, and I'm all for it. There's one huge elephant in the room problem, what Mark Cuban just said. What we need to start talking about until there's regulation is supporting builders that are not issuing tokens, because XRP is the only digital asset with legal clarity, and any builder that's issuing tokens, they could sue them tomorrow. Who's going to invest in that? That doesn't make any sense. That's why I don't focus on talking about a lot of that stuff. It doesn't make any sense. Until there's regulations, nobody... Mark Cuban's one investor, but what investors are going to be wanting to invest money in projects that tomorrow the SEC could file a lawsuit against? Then in other words, they have an added layer of risk that they don't have with builders that are building things where they're not issuing tokens. The XRP Cafe guy is a great example that was at XRP Las Vegas. But look at Mark Cuban's tweet. Since the it's now a no from me, not because the company itself, and that's what it's not. It doesn't mean that these are bad companies, like he's saying here. Not because of the company itself, rather because the SEC will not allow it to operate. The cost in time and legal fees to attempt to register and comply and make it impossible to realistically operate. And if you don't try to register and operate outside the U.S., I don't want to be involved. They have created a destructive environment that could. So it's not these builders' faults or anything, but it's not realistic to expect in this environment until you have regulation. It's not realistic to expect these major VCs to invest in companies that have issued tokens because it's a target for their investment money. Reminder, XRP is the only I'm a utility maxi, but I'm right now I'm an XRP maxi because it's the only digital asset with legal clarity. Give some legal clarity and maybe I'll be open to them. All other digital assets are a moving target. I'm a utility maxi, but in the current regulatory environment, XRP is the only choice. And funding builders that have not issued tokens that are potentially considered illegal securities, offerings, it's a no-go. Here's David Schwartz.
The market, something like $10 trillion by 2030, and, the increases in tokenization. In the early days of Ripple, another thing I learned talking to banks is that a lot of banks don't care about payments. And they're looking at things like digital asset insurance. They're looking at tokenized commodities like gold. So I think those are tokenized securities. HSBC is extremely interested in those types of projects. They're right.
When you hear about stablecoin legislation, what they're about to legitimize and make completely legal is stablecoins, but I believe it's tokenization legislation. In other words, issuing tokens that are backed by real world assets. Those will be ready to roll. If you want to invest in builders that are planning to tokenize real world assets. That's a different ballgame. Check this out. Wheezy knocking it out of the park. Look what Wheezy found. Remember how we kept saying that this guy right here that's running against John Deaton is actually a Democrat and he's a plant by Senator Warren? Well, look what Wheezy found. Larry Liuzzo. I don't know if you say it that way. He's the Vice President of Government Affairs at the Massachusetts Bankers Association. This is Elizabeth Warren's bill. This bill has been endorsed by Bank Policy Institute, Massachusetts Bankers Association. See that? And there he is. Massachusetts Republican candidate for Senate, Ian Kane's partner, Larry Liuzzo, is Vice President of Government Affairs at MBA. Senator Warren's recent bill cracking down on crypto and threatening U.S. innovation was endorsed by the MBA. Are you getting it now? Well, that sent me off looking, and I found this. Here's one of Larry's LinkedIn posts. It was another fantastic week in D.C., and it was time for ICBA's 2024 Capital Summit. Our Massachusetts Bankers Association contingent took to Capitol Hill, so they're up there lobbying, folks. And here he mentions that he's up there with the ICBA. Well, here's the ICBA. They are a community bankers, Community Bankers Association. But this is what they stand for. Americans are skeptical of crypto and CBDC. 63% of adults crypto should be regulated at least stringently as the banks. So they're anti-crypto. That's the gist of it. But that's not all, folks. Look at this. Remember, there's the same guy. Watch this. That's him. He's talking about the ICBA. Here's the ICBA, digital assets and cryptocurrency. They have serious concerns regarding the threats posed by cryptocurrency. Unregulated cryptocurrency is a threat. They urge policymakers to ensure public trust by fostering collaboration. Then it says, where does it say? It's a national security issue. It says, ICBA believes most crypto assets are likely offered and sold as securities. So there it is. Therefore, crypto entities should be subject to relevant securities laws and regulations. So this is who Ian Kane, is that his name? Ian Kane? This is who Ian Kane's partner is. Look at this. You'll never guess who I found that spoke at the ICBA, Senator Elizabeth Warren. This guy is a plant, folks. He's a plant's plant. Now, I'm going to talk about this and some other things in DAIXRP.com. We're going to talk about this. I'm going to show you something. One time I had 2 weeks worth of my videos deleted, and I did not delete them. I'll tell you that, and I'll tell you what I was talking about, and I'm going to show you something around that thing that I couldn't show you out here. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that away we go.